According to Weber, the modern world is characterized by the triumph of instrumental rationality, a way of orienting oneself to one's environment and other people whereas they become means to reach a given end. Rational action has no place for emotion or tradition. Rather, individuals or organizations consistently, systematically, and efficiently adjust available means to reach their ends. The economic sphere exemplifies this type of rationality. The surest way to profit is to refrain from making deals based on personal attachments, or showing mercy for the personal plight of others, or allowing sentiment or sympathy to influence decisions. After all, another's loss may be one's own gain. These various tendencies are reinforced by the dominance of formal rationality in modern life, the application of calculation in order to achieve predictable outcomes. As Weber's examples of the bureaucracy and the scientific method show so well, calculable procedures and rules applied to all situations and all persons will produce consistent results. Yet despite the technical superiority of rational action, Weber saw the ultimate consequences of rationalization as extremely grim. The vanquishing of irrationality, of emotion and mystery, results in a deadening routinization of everyday life and the inability of people to find overall meaning in their existence. Upon arrival in Tallahassee, Ted Bundy decided to rent a room at a boarding house, mostly catering to FSU students. He then spent his days canvassing the FSU campus, and he spent his nights trolling for students at a few different nightclubs very popular with the students. During the day, he also looked for menial labor and found a construction job, but could not start due to a lack of identification. After he stole identification, however, he never went back for the job. He then proceeded to get back into trouble again by bludgeoning four students at two different domiciles, one a sorority house. Many individuals have postulated that Ted could have remained free if he had not attacked the students. I believe that is correct. I believe that if he had taken the job and just lived quietly, he would have remained free and even stayed in Tallahassee if he had liked to. Ted's problem is that he looked to members of the college community for comfort. He attended classes at FSU, mingled with students at the boarding house, and even dated a young woman who lived across the hall from him. These are the last people on earth to look for understanding. They talked to detectives and considered him weird. What American outside their social class is not weird to them? Like all people, it seems, Ted was terribly concerned about social class throughout his life. He didn't care to be a low-profile, quiet person with a humble occupation. Although his loving stepfather was an adequate provider as a cook, Ted disdained him and mocked his working-class ways. Instead, Ted sought solace on college campuses with college women, and when they saw he was not upper middle class, they rejected him. In the end, Ted ended up in a relationship with a divorcee secretary and an awful, awful hatred for young women of means. Ironically, in his maniacal tailspin, Ted's final victim would be a 12-year-old girl from a meager background. I am not advocating that people abhor occupations that require mental skill and good pay, and I certainly do not wish that people do not try to become educated. What I do advocate is that people do not do so to buy the devil ticket and become one of the cold. Ted Bundy bought that ticket, and he could not have been a bigger failure in life. See what you think. Meanwhile, Detective Bob Keppel in Seattle had turned up an amazing number of coincidences. Ted, it turned out, had once dated Detective Herb Swindler's daughter. Ted's cousin, Edna Cowell, knew victim Linda Healy, and Ted had been enrolled in the same psychology class with Linda. A few of Ted's friends used to play racquetball with victim Donna Manson at Evergreen State College in Olympia. Terry Storwick, Bundy's best friend and boyhood, attended Central Washington State College in Ellensburg at the same time as victim Susan Rancourt. Terry and Susan even jogged together.